I wonder if a lottery would be an apt comparison for what Bitcoin quote mining is, because that's kind of like what it is. Like, there's some rules, you have to do these computations, and the difficulty of those computations changes so that there's somebody finds a block every 10 minutes. But the person who finds the block is pretty much random. It's like bingo. It's like, I got it. And then, there's a block reward that comes along with it. So that's the closest thing that's coming to mind. What do you guys think about that?
I think that there's a lot of what you said there is accurate. I think that it leaves out some of the other parts because there are other factors. But as a simplification, broadly speaking, I think that works.
All right, but it's a lottery in which the person who buys the most lottery tickets decides the rules of the game and can change them for the next lottery drawing. I mean, essentially, that's the equivalence, right? So if you win the lottery, or if you buy the most tickets, then you can decide that the next time the lottery runs, instead of 49 numbers, it has 48. You get one of them. You get to pick one of them by default, and the ball machine is modified to your liking.
I don't know if that's really accurate, Andreas, because...
Well, it is, because you get to pick the features that go into the next client.
Well, no, but you're saying the largest player, and what I'm saying is that, yes, you're right about the largest player, but the largest player doesn't necessarily have 51% of the network, which is what's required in order to make the types of decisions that you're saying that they could. And I agree with you. Theoretically, that's possible, but in terms of what we've seen so far, I don't believe that that's indicative.
I would say right now, ASIC miners in general, have the ability to choose the rules by which Bitcoin operates already, today. So right now, if there is a fundamental policy disagreement or change in the protocol, and these are happening with every version, so there's always some controversy. If this keeps happening and you have a fundamental change that affects the network as a whole, and that fundamental change comes down to a consensus vote, ASIC miners decide today. That's the case. The rest of us have no vote.
Another way that we've heard the blockchain described is more akin to pioneering land, right? Because land doesn't move, just like blocks in the blockchain don't move. You can own land, but you can't put land in your pocket, which is not true of gold. There are a variety of things that are applicable there, but do you guys know any other metaphors that work better than mining does? Because that, I think, is kind of a key problem here, is there aren't any natural ones that jump out.
None of the physical ones really work if you compare it to land. So does the person who surveys faster actually get to change the rules for how land deeds are registered? Because in Bitcoin, that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have these weird externalities where the people who control the resource actually can determine the rules by which that resource is extracted. You can't do that in any physical system. And not just to control the rules, but control the rules by which everybody else extracts that resource. It is exactly the kind of externality that will very quickly lead to monopolistic abuse. If a market has a way for a provider in the market to turn their outputs into monopolies, they will. They always do. So the market for Bitcoin mining is not a perfect market because the Bitcoin miners have the ability to change the rules by which they produce outputs. And once you do that, you essentially control the market and can turn it into whatever you want. That's a very unhealthy market.
See, it's just a question of of what the point is, right? That's what I keep coming back to. If the point is for miners to be able to maximize their efficiency and therefore maximize their profit, then I think the path we're going down is fine. But if the point is to create a robust, distributed, and resilient network that has lots of redundancy built in, so that if, half of the network suddenly goes dark for whatever reason, the other half doesn't go dark, I think that it's a bad system that we've got here, and that it was done with good intentions, and it just wasn't realized exactly what the incentives were going to lead to. So, if we're looking at this through a reality-based lens, then the appropriate thing isn't to say, well, we've already made this decision, so this is the decision. The appropriate thing is to say, as a community, what is the point? What is the purpose of mining? What function does it serve? Is what we're doing right now conducive to accomplishing that to the best possible way? And I think that, for me at least, my analysis says no. My analysis says, no, we're not doing things very efficiently. It's very efficient for people who sell ASICs. It's very efficient for people who run large mining operations or even smaller mining operations and have access to more advanced equipment. On a actually what's good for distributing the network, this is not the way to do it.
I love free markets because they're the best way to match price for supply and demand and allocate resources. However, free markets are not the best way to make policy decisions about the rules by which the market operates. If you have a free market situation where the market leader can decide the rules by which the market operates, you have market failure. Always.
If I showed you a website where you could easily purchase electronics from the world's largest distributor with Bitcoins at 0% markup, would you think it was too good to be true? Good news. It's real, and it's at bitcoinstore.com. Choose from 500,000 items, save money over Amazon and Newegg, and convert your Bitcoins to real-world items. You can even buy with privacy. All they need is a shipping address. But don't take my word for it. See for yourself at bitcoinstore.com.